Hello and welcome to Soul Food, our weekly meditation. And we've got back into our Leviticus series, Approaching the Unapproachable God. And we looked at Leviticus 16 and we titled it Culmination of the Ages. Now, depending on our upbringing and whether we've been churchgoers or not, or whether we've found faith later on, or whether we're just looking in, we have had all kinds of experiences, and some of these positive, some of these negative, and these have reinforced our views of life and people and situations. And sometimes we find out that some of the most significant or even insignificant events that happened in the past have an effect on us now, that they can build within us insecurities, concerns, worries, the way that we handle stuff, lenses that we look for. In addition to this, we can maybe be quite self-critical as people, and we can heap up guilt and condemnation ourselves. We can maybe often feel that we're not good enough, or certainly not good enough for God. He seems so distant and tricky. So we live this roller coaster of a kind of life, just trying to discover and work out, this God that is so awesome and so holy. How can we ever get close to Him? So the verses that we looked at, or I want us to think about and meditate upon, first of all, Leviticus 16:30 says, "For on this day," this is Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, "for on this day shall atonement be made for you to cleanse you. You shall be clean before the Lord and from all your sins." That this was one day in the year that the high priest went right into the presence of God to make sacrifices for the sins of the people, so they could get close to God, so they could relate to Him. And it was a picture, it was a foreshadow of what Jesus was going to do, that this was one time, once a year, every year, but Jesus was going to come at the culmination of the ages at one time, but not just for that day, but for all days. Something that that His death and resurrection would accomplish the defeat of sin forever. So in Hebrews 9:26 it says, "For then Jesus or He would have to suffer repeatedly since the foundation of the world, if He had to keep going. But as it is, He has appeared once for all at the end of the ages, at the culmination of the ages, to put away sin by the sacrifice of Himself." So just this one-time event, doesn't have to keep doing it. Jesus died and rose again so that He could put away sin for eternity. So we could live free, we can live full, we can live life. So let's think about that. Let's meditate on those verses. How easy do we find it to trust that Jesus has paid it all, and that we don't need to be punished because He was punished for us? If we grasp this truth, how differently might our lives look? How will we treat others maybe differently? How will we love others differently? How can we stop punishing ourselves and punishing others, but looking at others or each other as Jesus does, and loving each other as Jesus does, and living in the freedom and the fullness that Jesus has brought?